It fluctuated quite a bit. We started with 15 stages, and by the end of it, we had 21. Some of those were just a giant cityscape that filled this whole staging area here. We converted some offices upstairs into spaces where we just shot, maybe elements like the fish and plants and stuff like that. But we took every possible space we could get our hands on. The screenings I've gone to and the people I've had the opportunity to talk to that haven't worked on this project, they were what struck them was the ability that for a while they would forget they're watching puppets, and it's humbling to be part of that. It's amazing to accomplish something that this unique. The animator and I we would also talk about the shot even after Duke had left, and figure out how is the puppet going to walk down the hallway. These are larger puppets, and in some instances they're really kind of heavy or they're running, and we would use additional rigging and which would help stabilize the puppet in certain poses. All those hallway shots, those walls would fly away. The animator would walk into the stage and animate, step away, and then close the walls. So we would work with the art department to figure out which walls hinged when, so the animator would have access. We had a great rigging department that would help figure out how these puppets might manage sitting on the bed. The bed is a foam mattress, and the puppet's not going to be heavy enough to actually compress that mattress himself. So we actually have rigging underneath that would help pull the mattress so it looks like he's actually bearing weight on the bed. So I mean, almost every department would be involved with the animator. The goals end up being 2 seconds a day of animation, which it doesn't sound like a lot. It's amazing when you think about a stop motion film and how long it can take. And there were definitely questions on why not just shoot it live action. We could have shot it in a month or two easily. But animation, as labor intensive as it is, got a sensibility that you might have missed in a live action. So the goal of 2 seconds a day was, some days there were people that shot 12 frames because the shot is that complicated. And some days someone might shoot 4 or 5, and we'd really appreciate it. But as long as it looked good, it doesn't matter how much you would shoot at the end of the day, as long as it looked like a real human. The split face was first off, just economically, it makes sense to create a whole set of brow shapes that can move independently of the lower face and jaw. That way, you just have very so many more combinations. You could easily make the face a solid piece, but then for every brow expression, you have to have an individual mouth expression. So it just makes time-wise and economically sense. Where we differ from other features is we left the seam in, and I think that's an interesting choice, and I kind of look at it as we're seeing this whole movie from Michael Stone's point of view, and is that how he actually sees everyone? Because he already sees everyone as kind of a world face. Is it truly a mask? Because he kind of addresses it. He looks at it at a certain point. He wonders what this really is. So you wonder how much of the world he's really seeing. The difficulty with the clothing we would run into is that the cloth would run. You'd wear it out. Because you have an animator like gripping the jacket every day and like tweaking it for 10 hours a day, and it'll break down. And so realizing that we'd have to keep building and replacing stuff was impressive. And there was a point in time where we were kind of freaking out because we actually ran out of fabric for Michael's shirt. And he's like, we're out of shirts and we're out of fabric and we have to go hunt this down. And so there was a week there where people were scrambling just to find a certain kind of pinstripe to match, 3/4 of the movie that had already been shot. So yeah, the clothing was really interesting. It was quite a challenge. Yeah. As far as all the animators were concerned, we would pick the shots that were really working, and we would show them to everyone. Like, look, this is how this is happening. See how his shoulder rolls here. See how this happens. So we know we can do it. We know these big silicone puppets can achieve this. So this is how we can help you do that. So I mean, communication for a project this big and this shoestring is so important, just to get everyone on the same page and just figure out how really the best way to communicate to an animator. Because like I said, we're all, everyone's different. Everyone has a different way of receiving information as well. So, being able to translate what is good in this shot to someone who might not quite see it, or, to get everyone on the same page, it's a different speech to each individual animator. So, it took a long time, and I think we eventually got there, and watching the movie as a whole, I think it all kind of came together and works.